My family threw a party the day I moved out and put "Freedom at Last" on the cake. So I never came back, and now I'm the billionaire they see on TV every week. Let's make this moment special. Subscribe if you believe in stories like this, and tell us your city in the comments below. The moving truck was still idling outside when I heard the music. August heat pressed against my skin as I carried the last box toward the U-Haul, my t-shirt sticking to my back. 23 years old, college degree in hand, finally leaving the house where I'd never quite belonged. But something felt wrong. I pushed open the back door one final time, thinking I'd forgotten something. The scene before me turned my blood to ice water. Balloons. Streamers. My entire family, Mama, Daddy, my older brother Stephen, younger sister Lillian, and at least 15 relatives, crowded around our dining table. Champagne glasses raised. Smiling. Laughing. And there, in the center of it all, sat a massive sheet cake with bright blue frosting. "Freedom at Last," it read in celebratory letters. My cousin Tamika saw me first. Her smile froze, hand halfway to her mouth with a piece of cake. The room went silent, one by one, heads turning toward me. Daddy's face registered something, guilt maybe, before hardening into defensiveness. "Janelle," Mama said, not even having the decency to look ashamed. "We didn't think you'd come back inside." Clearly. My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. Stephen, always the cruelest, raised his glass higher. "To finally having our house back. No more walking on eggshells around Miss Perfect." The laughter that followed cut deeper than any knife. These were people who'd known me since birth. Who I'd loved unconditionally. Who'd apparently been counting down the days until I left. I didn't cry. Not then. I just turned around, walked out, and closed the door on that chapter of my life forever. I had no idea I'd just closed the door on them permanently. The party wasn't the beginning. It was just the moment everything crystallized into painful clarity. Growing up as the middle child in the Harrison family meant being simultaneously invisible and hypervisible, depending on what served everyone else's needs. My earliest memory was Mama braiding Lillian's hair on the porch, telling neighbors, "This one's going to be a model. Look at those eyes." Then, almost as an afterthought, "Janelle's the smart one, I guess. Always has her nose in some book." Sounded like a compliment. It wasn't. Being the smart one meant my achievements were expected, therefore unremarkable. When I brought home straight A's, Daddy barely looked up from his newspaper. When Stephen scraped by with C's, they threw him a celebration dinner for really applying himself this semester. "Why do you always need so much attention?" Lillian asked once when I was 14 and had just won a regional science fair. "Nobody likes a show-off, Janelle." I'd placed the trophy on my dresser, alone in my room, wondering what I'd done wrong. The pattern continued through high school. I worked 2 part-time jobs, saved every penny for college. Mama borrowed $300 from my savings jar for Lillian's prom dress. When I asked about repayment, she looked at me like I'd suggested something obscene. "Family helps family," she said coldly. "What kind of person keeps score with their own sister?" "The kind who never sees that money again," I learned. "The kind who watches that same sister get a brand new car for graduation while I received a card with $20 inside." But I kept trying. Kept hoping that one day they'd see me. They saw me all right. They just didn't like what they saw. The U-Haul cost me $700 I'd desperately saved. Money I'd earned doing overnight shifts at a warehouse while finishing my business degree at Georgia State. My apartment was in East Atlanta. A cramped studio that smelled like old carpet and someone else's cooking, but it was mine. The first night alone, I sat on my air mattress in the darkness, the city lights filtering through my single window. My phone buzzed constantly, not from family checking if I'd arrived safely, but from Stephen in a group chat that included everyone but me. "House feels bigger already," he'd written, followed by a laughing emoji. Aunt Carol had responded, "You all can finally relax. No more judgment eyes watching everything." I blocked the number. Then blocked 6 more family numbers. My hands shook as I did it, each tap on the screen feeling like cutting away pieces of myself. What hurt most wasn't the party. It was the realization that it represented their genuine feelings. This wasn't anger or a momentary lapse. This was celebration, relief, joy at my absence. I pulled up my laptop and looked at the business plan I'd been developing for 2 years. A tech startup focused on AI-driven financial literacy tools for underserved communities. I'd been too scared to pursue it, always thinking I needed my family's support, their belief in me. That night, I sent emails to 3 potential investors I'd met through university networking events. My email signature read, Janelle Harrison, founder and CEO MoneyMinds AI. If my family didn't want me, fine. The world was bigger than their small house and smaller minds. I would build something they couldn't ignore. Something so massive they'd see my face everywhere and remember what they threw away. Revenge? Maybe. But mostly it was survival. The first 6 months were brutal. My studio apartment became my office, my sanctuary, and my prison. I woke at 5 a.m., worked my warehouse job until 2 p.m., then coded and pitched investors until midnight. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford. Devin Martinez changed everything. We met at a tech conference in November, where I'd scraped together $200 for a basic ticket. He was a venture capitalist from California, Black like me, who'd grown up poor in Oakland and built his way up. "Your platform could revolutionize financial education," he said, studying my pitch deck. "But you look exhausted. When's the last time you ate?" We grabbed coffee that turned into a 4-hour conversation. Devin saw something in me that my family never had. Potential. Raw, unpolished, desperate potential. "I'll give you $50,000 for 15% equity," he offered. "But I want you to quit that warehouse job. Focus entirely on this. Can you do that?" I called him 2 days later and accepted. The money felt like oxygen after drowning. My phone rang occasionally, Mama's number, Lillian's. I never answered. Once Mama left a voicemail, "Janelle, it's been 4 months. This silent treatment is childish. We were just having a little fun. Call me back." Little fun. That's what my pain was to them. I saved the voicemail though. Motivation for late nights when exhaustion threatened to break me. By February, MoneyMinds AI had 3 employees. Me and 2 brilliant developers I'd met through Georgia Tech. By April, we'd secured another 100,000 in funding. By June, we had our first 1,000 users. The business grew like a wildfire, consuming everything in its path, including any remaining softness I had toward the people who made that cake. "Janelle, Forbes wants to interview you." My assistant, Destiny, burst into my new office, a real office in a shared workspace downtown, holding her phone like it was made of gold. Forbes. The actual Forbes magazine. It was October 2019, 18 months since I'd moved out. MoneyMinds AI had just reached 10,000 paid users, and our revenue had crossed $1.2 million. I was 24 years old and had just made my first million in profit. The interview ran in December. Tech prodigy Janelle Harrison brings financial literacy to the masses, the headline read. They'd photographed me in my office, professional and confident, nothing like the girl who'd slunk out of her family's house with her belongings in boxes. My phone exploded. Not from family, from everyone else. LinkedIn invitations, speaking requests, investment offers. The world suddenly wanted to know me. Steven was the first to reach out. A text message, "Yo, saw your interview. That's crazy, sis. We should talk." Sis. He called me sis. I deleted it without responding. Then came Lillian's Instagram DM. OMG Janelle. I always knew you'd do something big. So proud to be your sister. We should celebrate together. The audacity was breathtaking. I blocked her immediately. Mama called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered out of curiosity. Janelle, baby, we saw you in that magazine, she gushed. Everyone at church is talking about you. We want to throw you a proper celebration. Make up for... For what? I interrupted. Say it. Silence. Then, you're still upset about that silly party? Janelle, that was almost 2 years ago. We're family. You can't hold grudges forever. Watch me. I hung up. My therapist, Dr. Haney, asked if blocking them out brought me peace. No, I admitted. But neither did having them in my life. Spring 2020 brought the pandemic, chaos, and opportunity. While the world shut down, financial anxiety skyrocketed. MoneyMind's AI became essential. Our user base exploded to 50,000. Revenue tripled. Then Goldman Sachs called. Richard Shepard, their VP of Strategic Acquisitions, wanted to buy my company. The offer, $45 million. $45 million? Destiny repeated when I told her. Janelle, that's generational wealth. That's your family never having to work again. My family. The words tasted bitter. I met Richard at a virtual conference in June. He was sharp, professional, and surprisingly empathetic. I read about your background, he said. First-generation college graduate. Built this from nothing. That's the kind of founder we want. I'm not interested in selling, I told him. But I'd consider a partnership. You provide enterprise resources and connections. I retain majority control. We scale together. His eyebrow raised. That's ambitious. That's the only offer you'll get. We negotiated for 3 months. In September we closed a deal. Goldman Sachs invested $20 million for 30% equity, valuing my company at $67 million. I own 60%, worth $40 million on paper. At 25, I was wealthier than everyone in my family combined. Times 1,000. The announcement hit TechCrunch, Bloomberg, and the Wall Street Journal. My face was everywhere. Daddy showed up at my office unannounced. The receptionist called up, confused. There's a James Harrison here? Says he's your father. My stomach twisted. Tell him I'm unavailable. Through the window I watched him leave, shoulders slumped. For a moment, just a moment, I felt something like regret. Then I remembered the cake. The laughter. The borrowed money never repaid. The lifetime of being invisible. The feeling passed. Thanksgiving 2020 was my first major holiday alone. Destiny invited me to her family's dinner, but I declined. This was something I needed to experience. The full weight of my choice. My apartment had upgraded significantly. A penthouse in Midtown with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Atlanta skyline. I ordered Thai food and opened a bottle of wine that cost more than my first month's rent at the studio. My phone buzzed. An email from Aunt Carol, somehow obtained from my business website. Janelle, your mama is heartbroken. We're all sitting here at Thanksgiving and there's an empty chair where you should be. Whatever happened, we're family. You've done so well for yourself. Don't you think it's time to forgive? We want to be part of your success. We want to celebrate you properly this time. Please come to Christmas dinner. We love you. I read it 3 times. Each time different phrases jumped out. Part of your success. Celebrate you properly this time. Not we're sorry. Not we were wrong. Just we want in. I drafted 7 different responses before settling on the simplest one. The chair isn't empty. I was never really there to begin with. My therapist and I had been working on something called radical acceptance. Accepting that people are who they show you they are, not who you wish they'd be. They love the successful you, Dr. Haney had said. The you they created never existed. You've been mourning a relationship that was always one-sided. That night, looking out over the city lights, I made a decision. I wouldn't keep blocking them or ignoring them. I'd simply move forward as if they didn't exist. No anger, no hurt, just nothing. It was the most peace I'd felt in 2 years. January 2021 brought an unexpected opportunity. CNBC wanted to develop a new show about young entrepreneurs disrupting traditional industries. They wanted me to host Money Minds with Janelle Harrison. The producer, Sarah Copeland, pitched over Zoom. Every week you interview a founder, break down their business model, and provide financial education to viewers. We're thinking prime time Tuesday nights. This could be massive. I hesitated. I'm not a television personality. I'm a tech founder. You're authentic, Sarah countered. You don't bullshit. That's what people respond to. Plus, you're black, you're young, you're a woman in tech. You represent voices we need in this space. The contract was generous. $200,000 per episode for a 20-episode season. But more than the money, it was the platform. Millions of viewers every week. My face, my voice, my story. Impossible to ignore. I signed in February. We started filming in March. The premiere aired in May. 4.2 million viewers. By episode 3 we were trending on Twitter. By episode 5 I was being recognized in airports. That's when Steven posted on Facebook. Watching my sister on TV. So proud of everything she's accomplished. Love you, Janelle. He'd added a childhood photo of us. One where he'd pushed me off a swing set minutes after it was taken, laughing as I cried with a scraped knee. The comments were sickeningly predictable. Such a supportive brother. Family is everything. You must be so proud. I screenshotted it and sent it to my lawyer. Can we do anything about this? Unless he's using your name for commercial purposes, no. But document everything. My second million came from that show's first season. The third and fourth millions came from Money Minds AI continuing to scale. By summer 2021 my net worth crossed $10 million. I was 26. And completely alone in my success. Fame was intoxicating and exhausting. By fall 2021, I couldn't go to Target without someone recognizing me. Most interactions were positive. People thanking me for the financial advice that changed their lives. But the family vultures circled closer. Lillian launched an Instagram account, Sister of Janelle Harrison. Her bio read, Family of tech mogul and TV personality. Fashion, lifestyle, and blessing counting. She posted throwback photos we'd never taken together, captioning them with lies. My sister and I were always so close. She taught me everything about determination. She gained 30,000 followers in 2 weeks. Then came the interview request. We'd love to hear from Janelle Harrison's family about what she was like growing up. I watched from afar as they crafted a narrative. Mama told Essence magazine, Janelle was always driven. We knew she'd change the world. We're just so blessed to have supported her dreams. Supported? I'd paid my own way through everything. Daddy appeared on a local Atlanta morning show. My daughter's success comes from the values we instilled. Hard work, integrity, faith. That's the Harrison way. The Harrison way. The same way that celebrated my departure? My publicist, Tracy, was livid. We need to control this narrative. Let me set up a profile piece where you tell your real story. No, I said. Let them talk. Every lie they tell, someone who knows the truth will see it. Their own words will expose them eventually. But privately it gutted me. They were rewriting history, parasiting off my success while the actual work of building myself up had been done in complete isolation from them. Devin noticed my distraction during a board meeting. Afterward, he pulled me aside. Talk to me. I told him everything. The cake. The silence. The sudden attention. Cut them off publicly, he advised. Clean, decisive, no ambiguity. Protect your brand. He was right. But something held me back. Not love, but a stubborn hope that they'd realize their mistake and genuinely apologize. That hope would die soon enough. March 2022 brought the call I'd been dreading. My grandmother, Big Mama, had died. She was the only family member who'd ever truly seen me, who'd slipped me $20 and whispered, "Don't let them dim your light, baby girl." Aunt Carol called from Big Mama's phone. "Janelle, it's Grandma. She's gone. Funeral is Saturday at Ebenezer Baptist. The family expects you to be there." Expects. Not hopes. Not requests. Expects. "I'll be there," I said, then hung up before she could say more. The funeral was packed. Big Mama had lived 89 years and touched countless lives. I arrived early, sitting in the back row, designer sunglasses hiding my swollen eyes. Then my family arrived. Mama saw me first. Her face lit up, not with grief or reconciliation but with opportunity. She made a beeline toward me, Lillian and Stephen trailing behind. "Janelle. Oh baby, I'm so glad you came." Mama's arms wrapped around me. I stood rigid, unresponsive. She pulled back, confusion flickering across her face. "It's been too long. We've missed you so much." "Have you?" My voice was flat. "Or have you missed what I've become?" Stephen stepped forward, attempting a smile. "Just come on. Big Mama wouldn't want us fighting. She'd want family together." "Big Mama is the only one who treated me like family," I replied. "The rest of you treated me like a burden you celebrated being rid of. So let's be clear, I'm here for her. Not you." The people around us were starting to stare. Mama's face flushed. "This is not the time or place." "You made it the time and place by approaching me," I interrupted. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to say goodbye to the only person in this family who actually loved me." I walked past them to the casket. Big Mama looked peaceful, finally at rest. I kissed her forehead and whispered, "Thank you for seeing me." During the service, they tried to sit with me. I moved. At the repast, they cornered me near the food table, attempting casual conversation as if we were normal. I left without eating, without saying goodbye. Just got in my car and drove away, tears finally falling. Big Mama's death severed my last thread of obligation to them. Now there was nothing left to hold me back. By summer 2022, MoneyMind's AI had grown beyond my wildest projections. We were at 250,000 paid subscribers, enterprise contracts with major banks, and 25 million in annual revenue. My board, including Devin and several Goldman Sachs executives, suggested going public. An IPO. Taking my company to the stock market. "Your valuation could hit 500 million, Devin explained during a board meeting. "Your shares would be worth 300 million. Janelle, you'd be worth $1/3 billion. The number seemed absurd. Me, the girl who'd hoarded warehouse paychecks, potentially worth that much? We started the IPO process in September. It was grueling. Meetings with investment banks, SEC filings, roadshows to pitch institutional investors. But by December we had a date. February 14th, 2023. Valentine's Day. Fitting, since I'd be marrying my company to the public market. News of the IPO hit Bloomberg in January. Analysts predicted we'd open at $35 per share, valuing the company at $600 million. My ownership stake, $360 million. The media coverage was intense. From studio apartment to stock market, Janelle Harrison's remarkable journey ran in the New York Times. Forbes featured me on their cover, The $1 billion blueprint. And then, predictably, my father showed up at my office again. This time, security called me before letting him in. "Miss Harrison, there's a James Harrison here. He says it's urgent family business." I almost refused. But something, maybe the finality of Big Mama's death, maybe curiosity about what new angle they'd try, made me say yes. He looked older than I remembered. Grey. Tired. He sat across from my desk, his eyes scanning the luxury around us. "You've done real good for yourself, baby girl," he started. "Don't call me that," I said. "What do you want?" His face hardened. "Your mama and we're struggling. The house needs repairs. I got laid off last year. We need help." "Need help," I repeated. Interesting. Like I needed help when I worked 2 jobs through college? When Mama borrowed my savings? When you all threw a party celebrating my departure? We were wrong about that. Stop. I held up my hand. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry it had consequences you didn't anticipate. There's a difference. Daddy's jaw clenched. So that's it? You're just gonna leave your family struggling while you sit in this fancy office? Pie family. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You celebrated being free of me. That door swings both ways. We raised you. His voice rose. Fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head for 18 years. You owe us. I owed you nothing beyond childhood. I was a child, you were the parents. That's not debt. That's basic responsibility. I stood up, walking to the window. But let's talk about debt. The $300 Mama took from my college fund for Lillian's dress. Never repaid. The $2,000 I loaned Stephen for his car repair. Never repaid. The emotional labor of trying to earn love that was freely given to everyone else. How do I calculate that debt? Money and grudges. He spat. That's all you care about now. You're the one who came here asking for money, I shot back. I came to you my whole life asking for basic acknowledgement. For love. For recognition. You gave me a take that said freedom at last. His face crumbled slightly. For a moment I saw genuine regret flicker across his features. Janelle. That was Stephen's idea. Your mama and we just went along. You went along with humiliating your daughter. That's worse. At least Stephen owned his cruelty. I returned to my desk. I'm not giving you money. Not now, not ever. You taught me that family helps family. Well, I learned a better lesson. Family shows up when it's hard, not just when it's profitable. You'll regret this, he threatened. When we're gone and you're alone with all this money and no family. I've been alone my entire life, I interrupted. The difference is now I'm alone by choice, not because I'm not good enough for you. There's freedom in that. He stood abruptly, knocking the chair backward. Your grandmother would be ashamed of you. Big Mama loved me unconditionally. She'd understand exactly why I'm doing this. Now get out of my office before I have security remove you. He left, slamming the door. I sat in silence for 10 minutes, hands shaking, before buzzing my assistant. Cancel my afternoon meetings, I said. I need some time. That night I called Dr. Haney. I think I'm finally done, I told her. Not angry done. Just done. How does that feel? She asked. Like coming home to myself. February 14, 2023. The New York Stock Exchange. I stood on the balcony overlooking the trading floor, Destiny and Devon beside me, reporters and cameras everywhere. At 9:30 a.m., I'd ring the opening bell and MoneyMind's AI would begin trading under the ticker symbol MIND. Nervous? Devon asked. Terrified, I admitted. Also exhilarated. The stock opened at $42. $7 above predictions. By 10 a.m., it had climbed to 48. By close of trading $53 per share. Company valuation, $800 million. My net worth, $480 million. I was 27 years old. The interviews were endless. Every reporter asked the same question: how does it feel to achieve this kind of success so young? I gave them the polished answer: gratitude, hard work, opportunity. But inside, I thought about that August day in 2018, about the cake, about the laughter, about leaving with the clothes on my back and determination in my heart. That evening, I flew back to Atlanta. My phone had blown up. Messages from old college friends, investors, celebrities. And, inevitably, my family. Mama had sent a long text. "Janelle, we watched you on TV today ringing that bell. We are so incredibly proud. Whatever happened between us, you'll always be our daughter. We love you. Please, let's fix this. The family needs you. The family needs you. Not we miss you. Not we were wrong. The family needs you." I typed and deleted 5 responses before settling on silence. Dad, I called Devin. I want to start a foundation. Full-ride scholarships for first-generation college students from difficult family situations. Mental health resources. Career mentorship. Everything I didn't have. "That's beautiful," he said. "What are you going to call it?" I looked out over the city, the place where I'd rebuilt myself from nothing. The Freedom Foundation. Because sometimes the family you choose is the one you build yourself. The next day, I announced it at a press conference. $50 million in initial funding. No family members on the board. My phone rang. Mama's number. I let it go to voicemail. Years later, people still ask if I regret cutting them off. The answer is simple: no. I grieve the family I deserved but never had. But I don't regret protecting myself from the one I got. They see me on television every Tuesday. They see my face on magazine covers. They see the life I built without them. And that cake they made. Freedom at last. They were right. Just not in the way they intended. I finally found freedom, from their judgment, their exploitation, their conditional love. I found it in the empire I built with my own hands, in the family I chose, in the person I became when I stopped trying to earn what should have been freely given. They wanted freedom from me. I gave them exactly what they wanted. And I took my freedom right back.